A month or two period is the DFA's timeline for the raging war in the Middle East, which it surmised in today's Senate Foreign Relations Committee hearing. But with more Gulf states joining the war against Iran and the unceasing, unforgiving airstrikes by Israel and the United States, the beaten-up Islamic Republic may even throw in the towel earlier, as our Luisa Erispe reports.
During the hearing of the Committee on Foreign Relations, the Department of Foreign Affairs, or DFA, says it foresees the ongoing war in the Middle East lasting between 4 to 8 weeks. As explained by the DFA, this is due to the continuous U.S. airstrikes in Iran and the recent statement from U.S. President Donald Trump expressing readiness for war.
The projection from the reports that we receive, it will take 4 weeks to 8 weeks. It's not like the previous Israel-Iran war, which only took 12 days. Because of this, we receive reports that Iran would like to negotiate, but it was discounted by the Iranian government. And Trump has said yesterday that he's more ready for war.
Beyond this, the death of Iranian leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei is reportedly having a major impact. Hence, it remains uncertain if the situation will escalate further.
We all know that the Ayatollah has been martyred at the first day of the attack. And unlike the June 2025, Iran was operating under the Ayatollah's guidance. But now, we don't know who's running the game in Iran. Who in particular, we do not know. So we cannot really tell how his or her mind would go.
Consequently, the government's repatriation efforts are now in full swing. In fact, the evacuation of Filipinos from 5 heavily affected countries in the Middle East is set to begin. Exit and meeting points have already been identified for the repatriation of Filipinos in these 5 Middle Eastern nations, one of which is via Egypt.
We have rapid response teams. Ang strategy po natin to supplement the embassies. On the western flank, meron tayong rapid response team na nasa Egypt. At meron tayo sa kabila naman sa eastern side sa Oman. So ang strategy natin, paliligiran natin yung pertinent 5 countries na binabanggit ko po. And along the Saudi line, meron na rin po tayo doon nakahanda. So all it takes is to execute the same.
According to the DFA, more airspaces are starting to open, including Etihad Airways and an additional flight from Emirates.
Etihad Airlines also going to fly, and I guess they were supposed to leave earlier. And Emirates is also adding a new flight, the second flight usually, that's EK334. Despite increase in conflict, either way, what we're trying to do together with the other agencies is kung ano yung mga ruta na safe para matupad yung ating evacuation sa mga Pilipino. So we're optimistic that more and more are opening up.
Meanwhile, 12 Filipinos from Iran are scheduled to be moved to Turkey with the assistance of the embassy.
Plan over the weekend to move 12 Filipinos from Iran and evacuate them through the border to Turkey. Over the weekend, they will be assisted by our embassy in Iran, and on the other side, our embassy in Ankara and Istanbul.
However, Senator Erwin Tulfo has reportedly received complaints regarding certain requirements being asked of Filipinos before they can cross borders, such as visa issues and inquiries regarding pending cases or travel ban. But according to the DMW, they will ensure this is merely procedural and guaranteed that Filipinos wishing to return to the Philippines will be able to leave the host country.
And dinidescribe dyan is the process in which one will undertake repatriation. So when we receive the repatriation request, the first step is to determine who is immediately ready. Repatriation ready po ang ibig sabihin dyan. So, minsan, may case pending yung tao. So that will be that will take some time to resolve. Minsan, walang passport or expired passport, so that too will take a bit of time as compared to others. But dinidistinguish lang po yung kung sino ba yung immediately pwede na.
The DMW and OWA are planning to request additional funds for repatriation as they estimate a funding gap of 3.67 billion pesos should the conflict be prolonged.
Umaabot around 135 to 140,000, Mr. Chair. Pero dahil po sa krisis na ito, ine-expect po natin na umaakyat itong presyong ito. So kung ipepeg po ito natin sa 150,000 po ang magiging gastos per repatriation, yung pong current na pera po natin for ERF ay pwede lang po sumalo ng around 15,000 or even less po, no? So sabihin po natin at 1% ang mag-request, that would be around 24,000, Mr. Chair. Ang aming pong funding gap ay nasa 2.2 billion na po. So, because the total estimated cost will be around 3.67 billion at 150,000 po.
Meanwhile, the hearing also addressed the possible spike in oil prices. According to the Department of Energy or DOE, if a one-time price hike is implemented next week, oil prices could reach 90 pesos per liter. However, if increase is staggered, it might not reach 80 pesos. Thus, Senator Erwin Tulfo is urging oil companies to implement the price hikes gradually.
Pinapakiusapan niyo ba sila na baka pwedeng i-stagger naman para...
Opo.
Para kahit papaano dahan-dahan nila maramdaman yung paghihirap? Ganun po ba yun?
Opo.
Parang
Maliwanag-
killing me softly? Ganun din, papunta na tayo. Isang bagsakan, bonus, dahan-dahan, papunta rin doon. Baka pwede pakiusapan na. Yun ang inaantay mga kababayan natin. Parang we're at the mercy.
The committee is expected to hold a follow-up hearing to discuss proposals regarding the suspension of excise tax or the reduction of value-added tax on fuel. Luisa Erispe from the National TV Network for a new and better Philippines.